Welcome to the Daily Influence, where our mission is to deliver a daily dose of positive influence that can uplift you personally or be shared within your sphere of influence. While not every episode may directly apply to your unique circumstances, we strive to provide insights and inspiration relevant to most people's daily, weekly, and monthly lives. Whether you are tuning in during the morning, noon, or night, the Daily Influence is here for you. Listen, share, and embrace the power of influence in your life. Hey everybody, Brian Smith here with the Iron Team series and the Daily Influence. And over the past week or so, we have been talking about a lot of different issues we deal with as leaders. And as you know, we define everybody as a leader. We each have our own area of influence. And in that area of influence, we find ourselves in a leadership role at different times. But to get through some of the things we've been talking about, making decisions, managing anxiety, lack of communication or better communication, dealing with transition, change or improvement, stress management, the key to all that is being able to hold ourselves accountable to these things that we want to accomplish within our own lives in our own areas of influence. And holding ourselves accountable can be really difficult. In fact, most of the time it requires what I like to call outsourced accountability. And I think I have found that that's really the biggest key to holding myself accountable is opening myself up to allowing others to help me be the best I can be in whatever issue I'm facing or trying to accomplish in whatever area of influence I find myself in. Be it a leadership role, a supporting role, a following role. I have to hold myself accountable to the things that I have set as standards, goals, milestones, whatever it is. To do that, you have to understand where you're at and where you're going, who you're influencing, how you're influencing. And for us, we think that the best way to do that is to approach almost everything in your area of influence with a smart mindset. When we find ourselves facing the issues of the day, the issues of the moment, SMART supports us. Being specific or having specifics, understanding what's measurable, what measurements are needed, defining what attainability is or understanding what attainability is, making sure we're having realistic expectations and setting realistic expectations or fulfilling realistic expectations and understanding timeliness, whatever that means. Is this the right time? Are we giving enough time? Defining these things. And they're simple. SMART's a very simple foundational tool to use when you think about accountability. And accountability is truly holding yourselves to a standard to finish whatever it is you've committed to. And if you can't do that, you have to question why you committed in the first place. And if you find that you're committing to things that you can't fulfill, I think you'll find that you missed something applying SMART in your sequence of thought. Accountability is above and beyond discipline. It has really nothing to do with discipline. It's setting a standard and meeting that standard and being consistent in that standard. You can set the standard low and then holding yourselves accountable might be easier. You can set or move that bar a little bit higher each time you fulfill a certain level of accountability. And then not only are you getting accountability and showing yourself that you can do it, and others for that matter, but you're improving and making yourself better. And when you do that, you move yourself from, one of the best books that I've been reading lately is Good to Great. You can go from just being good to great. To be great, you have to hold yourself accountable. You have to look in the mirror and accept responsibility for the things that you influence. And it may not just be your influence, depending on where you're at in the decision-making cycle, in the management cycle. But if you are part of a decision or a process or a tactic or a strategy, and you even had an inclination or you had a feeling or you just didn't speak up, you own part of whatever it is that wasn't met. There's a lot that can be learned from silence. There's a lot that can be learned from a lack of participation. And people who don't participate and then complain about results aren't holding themselves accountable. People who over participate, who micromanage through projects, and then when they fail, don't want to accept responsibility, aren't holding themselves accountable. And we have to slow down and understand the role we're playing in the areas of influence we have. And once we define that and understand that, we can truly look in the mirror and begin to use accountability to help us to be our best selves. And when we do that, we see improvement, we see greatness, we see superior excellence, we see amazing results, we see progress. And when you use SMART to define what that progress is supposed to be, and you allow it to support you, accountability becomes actually something you don't have to think about from a discipline or from a negative perspective. It's a supporting perspective. That's a check and balance, just like anything else. And it helps you maintain better credibility, better results, and you'll feel better about yourself, and so will your teams and your customers and your vendors and anybody who relies on you. So make a commitment to hold yourself accountable for the things that you participate in, where you have control, where you have influence. Hold yourself accountable to be a participant. And when you do participate, and even if it is through lack of participation, ask yourself, how could I have made things better? And you will see accountability become a positive in your area of influence, not a negative. We look forward to talking to you again tomorrow. We're actually going to switch gears a little and talk about some things to think about when you're buying or going into business. Hope you have a great day.